Have you ever noticed a subtle but powerful shift that happens when you trade? On green days, you feel sharp, confident, and clear-headed. But on red days, you feel heavy, uncertain, and you start questioning everything. It's the same person, same strategy, same market, but a completely different sense of self. If you look closely, what's changing isn't your skill. It's your identity. Somewhere along the way, your sense of who you are as a trader became tied to your profits and losses. And once that happens, emotional stability becomes almost impossible. Let's slow this down. Most traders don't consciously decide to tie their identity to their results. It happens gradually, quietly. At first, a green day just feels good. It feels like relief, progress, like you're moving in the right direction. A red day just feels bad, disappointing, frustrating, annoying. That seems normal, right? But over time, something deeper forms. Green days start to feel like proof of your skill, while red days start to feel like personal failure. Without even realizing it, your brain starts using your profits and losses as a scorecard for your self-worth. This is where things get dangerous, because trading outcomes are probabilistic. They contain randomness. And randomness is not a stable foundation for an identity. Yet that's exactly what so many traders build on. On green days, you walk taller. You trust your reads more. You hesitate less. And you feel like you finally get it. On red days, the opposite happens. You doubt setups you would normally take. You second-guess your entries, and you feel like you've completely lost your edge. But your edge didn't just disappear. Your identity just took a hit. This creates a brutal emotional whiplash. Your confidence surges, and then it collapses, over and over again. The longer this goes on, the harder trading becomes. Because now, you're not just trading price action. You're trading your self-image. Every single trade becomes a test, not just of your strategy, but of you. So, why does the brain even do this? Well, the human mind craves meaning. It wants to know where it stands. And in trading, your profits and losses is the most obvious signal available. So the brain uses it as feedback. Green equals good. Red equals bad. But here's the problem. Profits and losses does not measure your decision quality. It only measures the outcome. And the outcome is influenced by variables you simply don't control. So when your identity is tied to your profits and losses, your emotional state is tied to luck. That's not strength. That's vulnerability. This is why traders often feel completely exhausted, even when they're not trading that much. They're not just managing positions. They're managing their self-worth. Every trade carries this heavy emotional weight. Every outcome sends a message about who they are, and those messages accumulate. A series of green days can make you feel invincible. A series of red days can make you feel totally incompetent. Neither is accurate, but both feel incredibly real. This is also why traders often overreact to short-term results. A small losing streak feels catastrophic. A small winning streak feels like a massive breakthrough. It's because your identity magnifies the impact. The market hasn't changed. Your skill hasn't changed. But your internal narrative has. And that narrative is what drives your behavior. When your identity is inflated, you start taking unnecessary risks. You size up too quickly, trade outside your best conditions, and feel untouchable. When your identity is deflated, you become overly cautious or even desperate. You hesitate, avoid good trades, or start chasing your losses. Both of these states degrade your performance, not because you lack discipline, but because your identity is unstable. Now, here's an uncomfortable truth. As long as your identity changes with your profits and losses, consistency will always feel out of reach. Consistency requires neutrality, and neutrality requires emotional separation from your outcomes. This doesn't mean you don't care about the results. It just means you don't personalize randomness. Professional traders understand this at a very deep level. They don't feel better on green days or worse on red days. They just feel information. They ask different questions. Instead of, "What does this loss say about me?" they ask, "Did I execute my plan correctly?" That distinction changes everything. So, what's the cost of not making this shift? When your identity is outcome-based, your learning slows to a crawl because losses feel threatening. You start avoiding an honest look at your mistakes. You rationalize bad decisions. You don't want to see flaws because those flaws feel personal, so your growth stalls. But when your identity is behavior-based, learning accelerates. Mistakes are just data. They don't threaten your self-worth. They inform your adjustments. This is why some traders stay stuck for years. They keep tying their value to outcomes, so they're always protecting their identity instead of improving their behavior. So, how do we untangle our identity from our profits and losses? This isn't about pretending losses don't matter. They matter financially, but they don't need to matter psychologically. The shift begins with redefining what success means to you. Right now, success might mean ending the day green, recovering losses, or hitting a certain target. Those are all outcome-based goals, and they're uncontrollable in the short term. Instead, redefine success as things you can control, following your rules, managing your risk, executing consistently, and maintaining emotional neutrality. When success is controllable, your identity stabilizes. Here's a simple daily practice. At the end of your session, do not ask, "How much did I make or lose?" Instead ask, "Did I trade according to my rules today?" If the answer is yes, the day was a success. Full stop. If the answer is no, the work is behavioral, not emotional. This sounds simple, but emotionally, it's very difficult because it requires letting go of that external validation. It requires accepting that you won't feel great every single day. But that's the trade-off: short-term discomfort for long-term stability. Another important shift is your language. Notice how you talk to yourself. Do you say, "I had a bad day"? Or do you say, "I followed my process, and the outcome was unfavorable"? One attacks your identity. The other preserves it. Words matter. They shape your perception, and perception shapes your emotion. Over time, these small shifts add up. Your reactions soften. Losses feel lighter. Wins feel quieter. And something really important happens. You stop riding those emotional waves. You stop needing the market to tell you who you are. You already know. That's real confidence. Not the loud, flashy kind, but the grounded kind. The kind that doesn't disappear after a red day. This is why calm traders last longer. It's not because they're better predictors. It's because their identity is stable. They don't overreact. They don't spiral. They don't burn out emotionally. They simply stay in the game. And staying in the game is the real trader's hidden edge. If this helped you see how tightly identity and profits and losses can become entangled, hit the like button and subscribe for more on trading psychology. And leave a comment below. How much does your profits and losses affect how you feel about yourself? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.